full content spread. There's many different approaches. Now, when I did talk to Jay, he was like, I wish I would have published more the first year, but one article per month was all that he had time for. And then after the site started getting a little more traction, he realized that he wanted to put more time into it. He's definitely stepped up his game as far as publishing and how much he's writing. He's in the dog niche. He's in the golden retriever niche. And the thing is, he and his wife, they got a golden retriever. They're thinking about it every day. They're talking with their friends about it, with their family about it. It is something that they're passionate about, they're interested in, and on a daily basis, they have a reminder. More than just a daily basis, like all day long, okay, dog. So there's a very good chance that if you're into it, you're passionate about it, you're going to be okay. If you have a long timeline, you're going to be okay, especially if it is something that you're into. If you pick the golden retriever niche, if you don't like dogs.
Happy Friday, everybody. How are you guys doing today?
Maybe that's not a good one. You're probably not going to be able to compete because you don't give a shit about the subject matter. If you are a person who's completely agnostic on the topic area just because you love the business model, that's another thing that's relevant as well. The whole point here is really no niche is too competitive if you're willing to.
Let me know how you guys are doing today.
How much time are you willing to
Anything fun planned out for the weekend?
do you have? What are your background?
It's sunny here in Vancouver, Washington,
All those things.
even if you find that hard to believe.
But off the bat,
Because we get all seasons, it's usually cold and rainy.
tech reviews,
But this time of the year, it just started getting warm about
laptops or something like that, something like pretty proper.
beginning, middle of this week.
Competition, I wouldn't deter them if they have a specific reason why they want to work on that. So I don't think anything is too competitive. When you look at any of the given sites that are out there in a niche,
At this time of the day,
is
I'm winding down.
quality, there's lower quality.
I just have a video playing on YouTube.
Really established.
I have this guitar out in front of me.
The SERPs, and if you look at all the competitive
I don't know how to play the guitar, I'm going to be honest with you. I know a few chords here and there, but
area, maybe
when it comes to actually playing the guitar,
different audience.
I'm not skilled in that.
Maybe they do video, and they do a really good job on video.
If the background looks a little bit different, it's because I'm taking care of my brother's house. I'm looking over his dog.
If you're able to put in the time and effort, no niches.
What do you mean by that?
Especially if someone, I mean, this
And so I'm in a different room, in an office room.
person, it's a really competitive niche, but they're an expert in it, and they were like, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Different chair.
There's no reason why they can't become.
And I just wanted to jump on here for a little bit just to quickly go over some of the most up-to-date stuff happening in the business funding world, as well as anything else, and then I'll let you guys go on your way. I'll keep it short. But I'm going to give it a little bit of time, possibly about another 10 to 20 seconds. Get a few more people in here.
Very possible. All right, let me catch up on the chat here. Thanks for the questions. All right. Ninja says, did you see a boost in podcast traffic when you mentioned it specifically on the stream a few weeks ago? I think so. I did.
Hey, just hanging out, enjoying this nice warm weather,
If it's the one that I just
and just taking a bit of time out of my day.
mentioned ago,
Winding down right now. Already finished everything else I needed to before, being very productive. Hopefully you were too. And I really just wanted to get in here for just a little bit. Appreciate you though. I do. Thank you for observing and saying it loud and proud. This wasn't a scripted video, just so you guys know. Earlier this week I have been. I spoke to you guys about, so let's just kind of recap and work our way backwards. Let's reverse engineer what's happened already during the week. So I've already spoken about how to get 10 billion, up to 10 billion in grant opportunities, as well as business loans and equity on top of all of that. I've actually exhausted myself to a point where I've come out with a lot of content on it. It's more so this week than others. And if any of you want to learn how to find these business loans, grants, and equity opportunities, then make sure you guys go to the bio, click on the YouTube icon, and you search 10 billion in my videos, and it should be one of the most recent, or the second, should be the second one. It's the longest one. It's about an hour's worth. But I'll walk you through how to Google search and how to find these opportunities as they come, because they're being revealed per state, and not every state has them yet. And then I've spoken about grants in general, business loans with private, non-private lenders. The other day I went into building business credit on top of getting access to credit cards. And I did a video on that yesterday, and I believe it was today that I broadcasted the replay. So if you guys want to learn how to combine business funding with credit cards, right now is the time to do that. Right now in this market, in this economy, I have a lot of business owners of all backgrounds who come to me for business funding, and I'm very fortunate, and I'm extremely grateful that they come to me, because I've not been given this. I've had to earn that respect. I've had to earn it in the marketplace. And if you didn't know anything about me, you'll know that I began like same as everybody else in here, working their 9-to-5 job really hard, trying to find a way to support their family, trying to work day to day, and then come home 4 o'clock. You possibly have a little bit to do in the afternoon or in the evening, but you're just wiped out. Your mind isn't in the right frame of mind, in the right place to have the right energy to do the things you need to do. You miss out on events. Again, it all comes down to your time and your energy. And so being at a company for some time, they were relieving people. I was working physically in the beginning as well as hard mentally, because work had picked up, and then I worked a lot on the computers for budgeting, logistics, and business. And they were relieving over 50 people, literally. And I was one of them, unfortunately. And you know how they work with the apex, and they work their way backwards. And so I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't want to go for another year or about another half a year to get my bachelor's degree, because I already have an associate's. I could just go back and quickly get a business degree. I can even get it in a science, because I've taken the chemistry, I've taken the calculuses, I've taken the physics. I could if I wanted to. But the thing is, I didn't also want to seek out different certifications. And so I went down this path with a friend of mine who mentioned to me one day while I was having lunch at my desk, literally sitting there above me. You see this dimming light, like we're in this dungeon, 3-story building at the very bottom, brown concrete floor with cracks going left and right, and like towards me, like it was going to open halfway. And I'm having my lunch literally, and I get a message from a friend of mine. And I looked at it at first with my eyes opened wide, and a confused look over me, and in my mind thinking, why? And I had opened up the Snapchat message, and it was a friend of mine replying back to a meal that I had the night before for dinner. I had teriyaki. And he asked me how I'm doing. He's like, oh, that's good food. And hey, everything is great. And I've always been positive. And then we got into this conversation where, hey, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm running a trucking business, and you know, I'm trying to find other ways of earning a stream of income, a passive income. And so he started to talk to me about digital marketing agencies, affiliate marketing, and then the rest was history, as you can think about that. I went home, and that's when I started to do research. I literally like pushed the door open. That's what it felt like. It was already open, but I had to unlock it fast. And I pushed the door wide open, threw my backpack, literally was right in front of the stairs, and then I shut the door, not as hard, but I like gingerly pushed it in, and then walked around into the kitchen where in front of me was sitting my laptop, my old HP laptop, and I grabbed it with both hands, put it in front of the table where we sat to have food, and I started to do all my research. I know like a lot of you do. Possibly you're doing that when you're looking for business funding. And so then that's where I got my head in the game, and that's where I started to understand how to build a business, a sustainable one, and then I started getting into more of them. But all of us, we have ambitions, and we all have our targets and our goals we want to meet. So what does this all have to do when you're looking at getting business funding? In today's marketplace, you have to really go back to your fundamentals as a business owner, as I do every single day. You can be fundamentally sound, but you still need to revisit them. At least have it every single quarter, because there could be something you're lacking, or there's something that you have to add an element to then that little fundamental element then raises every other part of your business's structure. It goes down deep so many levels. But if you don't have the proper foundations in your business right now at this time, you are going to suffer really hard. And I say that because we're hitting this quote unquote, a lot of people say, impending recession, but that's the truth. I mean, look how far up the interest rates went up. If they go up even higher, we're going to get ourselves an even bigger hole than we already are. And it's more crucial now than ever that you look back into the past, or if you haven't had that much time to, look right now when you're starting your business, your startup business, what are the fundamentals you need to have? Let me know in the comment section before I give you guys the answer. What do you think these fundamental pillars need to be before you go get business funding? Let me know in the comment section and I'll try to say them as you do so. But my story isn't any different than any of yours. I was just trying to seek a way to provide for my family better. I didn't want to continue to be on government assistance. I was on food stamps for quite some time, and it's hard to just say that, think of it alone, because of the embarrassment that I had going into a grocery store and paying with my food stamp card and not even looking at the cashier in the eyes, because that was very difficult for me. I struggled hard because I almost literally, I had like a shockwave over me, like just standing there, and then I had people behind me, how to use my EBT card. And this was in my younger 20s because, again, we were relieved of positions. A lot of it wasn't my fault. And so I just decided I'd take some time to invest in other expenditures, like many of us do. And let me know, what have you done? Like when you were looking at getting into your business, what is your main reason why for doing it? Like you can't just say alone it's because of money. It can't be external reasons because you have a job that you didn't like. It has to do more than that. It has to be more about why I internally wanted to do this. And that reason being, I wanted to provide for my family better. I wanted to have more freedom for myself so I can actually take more weeks out of the year to go on vacation. And I can have more freedom to donate money, because that's what I like to do. I like to donate. I don't know if you know this, but I don't look at you as a transaction. And I'm not even going to say I don't even look at you as just a transaction, because that's not the truth. I don't look at you as a transaction at all. What I look at this as a personal relationship between you and I, whether I know you deep enough or not, it doesn't matter. It depends on how much you're willing to. I'm not pushing you to tell me about your family, your kids' names, or what are you doing on the weekend. If you feel comfortable with that, then feel free to. I'll express all of this to you. And I'm also an introvert, so it's pretty difficult. But we all have our own goals and we all have our own purposes, so you have to look deeper into yourself. And right now, what you need to fix is your funding details. Those funding details are your credit. Ask yourself right now, it's more important than ever. I spoke about this yesterday in the live. Protect your personal credit. That should be where you look at first. Don't look anywhere else. But yeah, I need revenue. I need more time in business. I need to clean up my bank statements. I need credit repair. And that's part of personal credit. But look where your personal credit is at. Not just a score. Where does it stand with all consumer credits reports and all those bureaus? Look at all of them, all the three of them. You can even download them for free online. No hard inquiries or no inquiries at all. Should be. You're in the right one. And think about what's showing there. What expenses or what late payments, I should say, are showing up. What can you dispute? What do you not want to see on your credit reports? Because I've seen these things with myself. And just one of those things alone can severely push you away from getting business funding at all. And so once that is taken care of, then you can help. Well, I don't want to go that far, but you can help your own clients and your own customer base with more advantages when you have all of this cleaned up. And I won't go into depth on how and so forth, but what you want to do is look at your personal credit, clean that up. If you need credit repair services, that's possible. That's a way to go. I think I put a link in the bio for credit repair if you guys want to see a review I did on a program who I'm close to the CEO on, because I used to do a lot of that. Now I just kind of outsource it to him, and he's a very trustworthy source, one of the most respected in the industry. And so if that's something you want to check out and learn more about how to repair your credit, that's what I would go down. But personal and business, separate the two. And make sure you're making your payments on time. Right now is going to be even harder too for a lot of business owners, especially in personal finances. If you're already struggling and you're not on top of making these payments, you're taking on too much debt. And then separate again, personal and business. Build business credit underneath your EIN, not your social security number, like your personal credit, to protect you and to also give you an advantage of possibly not having a personal guarantee. And then getting credit that you can use for your business on the back end and get approved through different vendor programs, and then get different accounts, build your trade lines on top of that, and get higher limits. And then this is how you offset the fact that if you come get funding through a private lender, you think it's kind of expensive, which they are. They're more of a medium to higher rate. But because you took care of your personal and business credit, you separated the two, and you started working on your fundability details, your personal credit, your time in business, your revenue, and a lot more, which is like your domain name, having it with the NICS code, not having it restrict you because of your industry, making sure you put the right personal and business name, DBA name, your social media handles, phone, business phone, home, and business address separated. And there's a lot more. But if you want to learn about how to get those fundamentals together, at the very least, you guys can go to the bio, click the link, and then go to the business credit video series, and then you can download that for free. And then one of the very first videos I created for you, it'll show you the steps you need before building business credit, but essentially the fundamental details that you'll need to go and put together before you go and apply for business funding. Whether they're looking at personal credit alone or personal and business credit, because a lot of these companies will look at credit worthiness. And what does that mean? I don't want to bore you guys with the subject. If you guys have any questions on anything, please feel free to bring it up, and I'll come back to the comments in just a moment. But make sure you're separating the two again, and they check credit worthiness for certain business loans, so you want to have that. It's your passion, your purpose. I love that sentence. Thank you for putting that, Joe. You love doing what I do. I help heal people, guide people, and inspire, one haircut at a time, making a difference. I love it, man. Well said. I like those sentences you put together. And it is because you have to figure out your why, but your why isn't enough to push you. You have to also come together with not only why are you doing what you're doing internally, there's externally, but look inside. But then you also have to ask yourself, what is your core vision? And within your core vision, you want to list about 5 things. And these 5 things is what you're going to have. And then you have a core focus. And then after that core focus, then you have this mission statement that drives all of your core focus and your vision. So it's a bit different from vision and mission statement. And then from there, you want to start asking yourself questions like, how can I ask yourself more problem solving questions, and then figure out what was that? Another one. I was thinking of 2 of them right now. Yeah, that's the one. So you want to figure out how to be deliberately purposeful, not just having hopeless purposeness. Those are 2 key differences. Having deliberate purpose means you're going to go out there and do whatever you can to reach your goals, to reach that focus you have and that outcome that you're looking for, to continue every single day with your vision and what you aspire to do. I know it kind of sounds cheesy in a way, or maybe you've heard of this before, but it is the truth. It's what keeps me driving every single day. The thought of losing my dog, that overwhelms me just about every day now, because I did lose him back in February. He was my best friend, my brother. 15 great years with him. Little toy poodle mixed with a Pekingese, or Peekapoo, excuse me. Kind of a rare dog, great dog, family dog. And so, that was a very difficult time, especially until today. I do little things like I pray before I go to bed. I speak to him. I know how weird that may sound to you, but when you're so close to an animal like that, you just can't replace them. Even if you get another dog, and that's not something I'm committed to doing. But I don't want to go too aside from that. Just hanging out, Eric. How are you doing? What's the cat meow? I'm trying to think, is that like a... how some people try to trick people into saying something? I had a person like months ago tell me to say something in the comments. And I'm like, no. They're trying to trick me to say something. Are you saying like what's happening right now? Or what's the new thing on the block? Who's the new kid on the block? I'm just hanging. I'm right here on my laptop. It's sunny here in Vancouver, man. Which is something hard to say, but that's what it is. Euphemism? Yeah, of course. But not that one exactly. I think I heard it once, Pat Meow. But I wasn't paying much attention to it. It wasn't directed to me. Now let's see this. So a lot of updates. Let me go into that subject and then I'll close shop here before 2:15. I want to get out and do some things. Appreciate you. Yeah, and I didn't want to go in depth. I could have gone more. I've done it in the past, but I don't want to open up that side of me right now. I keep that close to my heart. Like, I'm trying to get a cross chain with my dog, and just have him there with me. So I've seen people where they have a cross or they have one of these with their dog or something similar. I was just listening to, I don't know if you guys know the baseball player Freddie Freeman. Appreciate you too. But I just listened to a story of his and he just said how his mom was, how his mom passed away. And how hard it is for him every single day to visit or just even think about the day and her birthday, Mother's Day, and visiting her. And you can see it in his face and how difficult it is. And I'm struggling with these things with my dog. Like when his 16th birthday came, like we celebrated for him. We did a few things and, we have our own little things that we do. But every day, not a day passes me since his passing where I don't pray and I don't, like at night I have his ashes. We have his ashes and then we have like a few pictures of him and then we have a whole other spot where we put all his things and we have a picture of him. And I go in there and I'll just, before I go to bed, like I speak to him a bit. I know how weird that is, but I guess it helps, but in a way it's like, hey, you're still here with us. And he visits us every night. He's there with us every day, like he was with us at the couch at the end of the night. And it's just like, hey, man, this will happen today. I know you saw it. We'll see you tomorrow morning. And then boom, head off to bed. And then sometimes I'll even pray at night. And I'll pray to my grandma, my grandpa, and a few people that I've already lost, close people to me. More so my family than anything. And I just ask them, hey, how are they doing? And I hope you're taking care of my dog, Gizmo. I hope he's behaving. And just little things like that. And I say everything I need to the higher power. And I'm not going to say that I don't want to make this about religion because I'm not, quote unquote, a religious person. I'm Catholic, but I am spiritual. I've grown my spiritual side over time, over the years. It's been hard to. I love what you said. Energy never dies. I agree with you. Time passes, energy can pass, but I don't think energy fully goes away. And just feeling that sense and then knowing that they're still there even after everything. But yeah, he was my best friend for a very long time. I saw him at his best. I saw him at his worst when I was working so gratefully been able to have my own businesses and be able to work from home. And I saw when he was struggling so hard, I had to feed him with a syringe. I had to get him up his bed because he couldn't walk anymore. His back feet weren't allowing him to. He already had arthritis, and he had already like broken a little spot back here. But yeah, with the help of a few other people, and he was very, very close to my mom, and so that was a very difficult time. It still is. Yeah, and they're still here, you know. So that's what I take happiness in. I'm not gonna say that the feeling of it's not depression. It's the feeling of a huge amount of weight on your shoulders will never be there, because it will. But I can take the fact that he's in a better place than where he was, because he was struggling with his kidney diseases. He was in like the latest stage, and he had already been in a detrimental state where he couldn't even breathe, really. And we had to help him, and he was at a point where we had to put him down. But, you know, very true. I like what you said. The physical and then the verbal. My dog knew he was under both. Right. Every day. And he knew he was in this pain that he could not get out of. And he, I think, came to accept it. And I'm not just saying that because I would hang out with him on my breaks. He would be on my bed. There would be a bed behind me. If you guys see me on my lives, he would be laying there every single time. Perhaps you saw him. Because he came to visit me. He came to the door. If it wasn't open, he would scratch it. I'd open it, or I'd peel it open a little bit more. He'd look at me, and then he'd look at the top of the bed. And I knew without question what he was trying to do. So I'd always put him there, get a blanket. He would lay there. He would sleep. And then I would take a little break with him. Or I'd go into the second living room, wherever he was, and just take him out for a bit, hang out with him. And that's honestly, I don't want to say this, but when you get to a point, his name is Gizmo. And I speak about him in the present sense, like instead of was, is, because he still is here. And the thing is, you don't always realize what you have until you lose something. If there's anything you want to take away from this video, I know we're talking aside from business funding, is you never really truly appreciate something until you lose it. I had greater appreciation before I lost them. Appreciate you, thanks. And a lot of us don't really appreciate what we have until we lose it. You have to lose something to appreciate it and truly appreciate it? No. But a lot of us take things for granted. I didn't. In the beginning, when I was younger, sure, when he was seeing me go through the stages of elementary, middle, high school, college, when I was away from him. My younger brother was away from him too. Well, he was more so in the house a lot when I was gone. And then I came back and did some things, and I, spent a lot more time with him. And then just going through all of that, and you just truly don't. Yeah, I think all of us need to look at it that way. It's not about, you want to remember them for what they did in the past, but in a way you also want to remember them for how they're doing right now in the present, because you always take them with you. And it's true. I mean, they're always there. Even if you don't feel it, like I felt it in the beginning. When he passed away, like not even a day later, I smelled, like it wasn't the blanket that I had over me when I was sitting on the couch at night, where he usually sits right next to me, like literally like sitting in a little spot right here. I don't know if you have like a little small dog, but he would sit right next to me on my left, and he would just, sleep. He was older now, but I literally smelled his scent with his shirt on that he would always wear, like an old viejito or like an old person smell. And I thought I was losing my mind, but I wasn't. I looked over here to my left and my right, and it wasn't the blanket, or it wasn't coming from anywhere else. And literally, I was like, he could be right there right now. He was probably trying to give me some comfort in grieving. But it happened another time too where I heard a bark, and my brother had brought his dog over, and it wasn't his dog. His dog was in the kitchen, and then on my left I heard some footsteps. It was actually it was actually footsteps. It wasn't the actual barks, but I heard little footsteps like he makes, and he's usually in that little spot, which is crazy. And I had turned around to my family because they were there at the time. Did you guys hear that? They thought, "Oh, you're losing it," and I said, "No, I know without a shadow of doubt what just happened." And then there was two occurrences when I smelled him on the couch. He was on my right first, and then on my left where he would lay down. But I don't want to get too away from all that. Just know that appreciate what you have before you lose it. It could be a family member, a friend, a complete stranger that we all feel emotions for. Look at, what happened with Kobe. But don't take anything for granted. That truly, the loss of I lost my grandma, my grandpa, two very big people to me, huge, very close to. You can say out of everybody in the family, they were probably the most closest to me, or they probably because they took care of me the most with my younger brother. I had to set the example for everyone, and losing them, just my grandma a month before I lost my dog this year, and then my grandpa some time ago, and then all of these things that added on top of one another, it created this whole all right, now's the time. I'm gonna really push myself to do everything I can. I'm gonna do it smart, and every day that I wake up, I'm gonna wake up with the energy and in the right frame of mind. I'm not gonna wake up like, I don't want to fix my bed. Oh, I gotta go take kids to walk. No, I don't do any of that anymore because I'm very focused and I'm very disciplined in what I do, and everything that I push myself to do, I'm going to do it 110% at. That's a good question. Can we truly value time when we feel that it's never enough? There's two sides, but I can say this, that we are limited on time. What we have to cherish is our time, but more than that is our energy. Not a lot of people understand how they use their energy. A lot of people come to me and they go, "Damn, man, how did you just eat salads for 3 days straight? Or how did you lose 45 pounds? Well, because I fixed the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? Not having to be in a reactive state every day, not having to be rushing, not having to be stressed every single day, and having to fight and survive every day. I get that's part of the equation in life to a certain degree, but a lot of us, we are in this rat race where we just keep turning and turning, and then we never take some time to get off of it or slow down, at least to realize where we are. And so when people ask me these kind of questions, I go, well, I've been in your position before. Maybe not to that extent, or maybe I have been, or maybe there was a time when I just didn't want to use something as simple as fixing your bed every day, as brushing your teeth before you go to bed, which I do a lot now. I used to not do that at all. Brushing it in the mornings, doing what I need to do, exercise, pray, meditate, say 3 things that I'm grateful for, journaling. All of this I do before I even get on the computer and I do any kind of work. I don't check my phone in the mornings. And it's all about discipline. It's all about having the fundamentals. So you guys, when you started working in your business, I'm sure you looked at the fundamentals, but you probably didn't pay too much attention to them. You thought that the problem would fix itself. You're already up here, but you're dealing with a level 10 problem, but you haven't fixed a level 1 foundation. And so all these problems that are occurring up here, you're spending more time in a meeting, not asking the right questions, not answering the right questions. Instead, it turns out to be like a 3-hour thing that I don't spend time on. Not anymore. I get out. I get in and I get out what I had to get done with, and then I got to go back to my things. Like today, I had a meeting with a big group. I didn't necessarily have to speak about this time, but I'm in here doing other things while I have the video up. Maybe I'm on Zoom, maybe it's streaming somewhere else, but I'm over here doing other things, and I'm getting what I need to get done because I need to be productive. We all should be wishing that we all had more time with a loved one. And that, again, like I said, it comes back to we are only opening up our eyes, or we are as grateful when it actually happens. So with anybody else in your family you have right now, cherish them as much as you can. It can be your kids, it can be your spouse. Like, I'm going to tell you I love you every single day. Like, before you get off the bed, when I do first, I'm going to tell you I love you, even if you're not awake yet. I'll give you a kiss on the forehead. Because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. It sounds like, well, Michael, you know how to do. No, it's because I've developed it. And if every day you're just trying to get up to go work to make money, that's your purpose, that's your drive, that seems pretty bad to me. You have to have something else that drives you. You have to give 110% to your business. Me, I give 100,000% to all my businesses. Some days I have to work on one more than the other, and then I come back to it maybe that evening or tomorrow, and I work on another one a little bit more. But what I'm saying is, don't just look at one area of your life and say, I'm going to give it only 100%. I'm going to watch my kids, and I'm only going to give that 50% of my time while I'm on the phone. No, I'm going to put my phone down. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care if you're going to give me a phone call. Right now is family time. You shouldn't be calling me at this time, whether you know it or not. I'm not picking up. You're trying to text me. I'm not texting you back. As simple as it is, with a simple yes or a no, or it can be an email. But right now is my family time, and I have to give them 130% for the allotted time that I have, because I will never get that back. The energy that I put in to what I'm trying to do, and the outcome that I see, is what I'm fully immersed in. So that's what everybody has to understand. Appreciate you, Eric. Thank you for saying that. It's not a side that I show too much. I do speak my stories from time to time. I haven't done it in some time until today. I could go even deeper into each of these segments, but I just want to leave it at that. So take care of the fundamentals. My battery percentage is a little low. Maybe I'll put this up later on somewhere else, perhaps YouTube. Right now, you guys know it's here on TikTok. But the fundamentals, fix it right now. Personal, business credit, separate the two. Build your business credit profile. It's much easier than you think. The only problem that's standing between you and doing it, can you guess what that is? I'll give you a hint. It's one of the things I said earlier. It's a lack of discipline. So like the reverse of being disciplined to do what you need to do every single day, compartmentalizing, you have a lack of discipline. And the other part may be that you don't have a vision for why you need to, for this example, build business credit. What would be my outcome of building it? You don't have a strong reason why. But it's not enough to say I don't have a strong reason why not to do it. It could be the reason being, oh, with this economy now, that the loans are going to be more expensive, that I'm going to have to be paying a lot more. Interest rates are much higher now for me in my specific industry. Like right the other day, I had a business owner. We were trying to get him $150,000 for 18 months, but he's a general contractor in the construction space, and we can only give him about a year with about $125,000, and he's still being evaluated. That's for a term loan, and we're still evaluating him for an SBA 7A loan. Excuse me. And so I'm looking through all that. I'm communicating with my underwriters and the lenders and anybody else that I need to be. Is it? Yeah, technology can be a constraint. I've been there. I remember starting far back when... Let me see if I can get a charger here, and then I'll continue going. But if I can't get it plugged in, then I'll close up shop. I think this charger will work. Let's see if it does. Give me 1 second. Okay. I have that. And then I'm going to need to plug in the charger port. Actually, I could do this. Let me plug this right into my computer. Bear with me, I know the phone just fell. I think that's working. The laptop didn't give me a notification yet. Yeah, but technology, I remember far back when I was getting started in this world, like building a legitimate digital marketing agency, and then getting into affiliate marketing, part of that being also e-commerce on that side. But I was severely challenged because I didn't know that I had to build a website. I didn't know that I had to add plugins, that I had to add an About Me page, that I had to put up this whole WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, you named it, I did it all. But I figured out that I didn't have to learn coding. A lot of the templates were already done for me, so I didn't have to go recreate the wheel. So all I had to do was follow a proven framework, a step-by-step process, and that's actually what propelled me to save more energy, more time, and not make the costly mistakes that a lot of people had to do when they were first getting started online as a digital nomad. So it's not about the technology to a degree. It can be a little bit limiting. But it's more about the education you receive and the steps that you need. And it goes back to the fundamental steps, because a lot of you will be thinking, well, oh my God, how did they build that website, or how did they build that landing page, or how did they put that document together? But what you're not thinking about is, what are the fundamentals? So we always look at the outcome. We're too outcome looking. And we want to see, okay, damn, like how did that guy get to 50 million a year? I mean, that's going to be very difficult. But what they'll tell you, and what I'll tell you from doing a load per month, I don't want to get into the numbers for compliancy and a lot of things, and I just don't like sharing revenue and all that. I'm not like that, and I'm not hiding anything. But like, you have to ask yourself, like, what are the daily activities that it would take for me to produce the type of revenue that I need? So if you're in like the trucking industry, I just need a new truck. I need a used one. That's all I need. If I got a new one, I'd probably be producing an extra 20 to 30,000. If it were used, probably the same, probably a little bit like 10,000 less. There might be some repairs that I need to take care of that would then have me take out a loan or add a credit card on top of a loan. Depends on how much you need, and then you can move your way from there. Hi, Eric. Yes, still a great term, without a shadow of a doubt. I think my phone is charging. I just keep constantly thinking about it. Yes, for what he was receiving because of the economy right now, and then his business type. Contracting, how he can go from work to work, how it can sometimes be unstable. I saw the deposits, so I knew it was going to turn out that way with the underwriters. And then, just the current state of the economy. So I think it's charging. It might give me a 10% battery life. Yeah, let me do this. Give me a second. I'm going to go get my charger. One second. There we go. Now I have a notification. I'm sure this one was charging. But I wanted mine. And yes, I can guide on tech to a degree. If you tell me if I need to help you code, or I know good CSS, I know HTML, but I'm not gonna go too in depth in that. I remember in the early stages, Oh man, I was in so much pain having to build my websites myself. Like I'm telling you guys, like I did not outsource any of this to anybody at that time. None of it. And I still don't for a lot of these things. And that's how you learn. I remember the long nights. I was up till sometimes about 2 in the morning with the support team because I did not want to wait until the morning because this needed to be taken care of. And if I didn't take care of it, I knew that the people that were coming to visit the site or the people that were trying to sign up for something and so forth, I would lose them. And it's bad that it got to that point, but it was like, oh man, there was a plugin issues, a conflict, CSS with cache, and so forth. But there were a lot of things, and I still deal with that from time to time. I'll still have to reach out to my support team that can handle that for me, where I don't have to go into it all, do it all myself with the CSS and coding and so forth. So you'll always have support there with you, whether it is through myself or you have a designated team to do that for you. You can also outsource things to help you with more specific tasks. But I'm so grateful to have them because if I didn't, I'd be spending more time and energy on things that I possibly shouldn't be giving it to. And then when I go do something else, I don't have the time for it, or I'm not in the right time block or the right frame of mind, energy-wise, and so forth. EIDL loan is only available to those who submitted an increased loan modification request appeal, etc. before the May 6th deadline or on the May 6th day. And you should have received an email. So if you can look for your EIDL loan email, if you have one, look in all folders if necessary. You'll have information on what you need to submit. I won't get into the specific details on who to submit it to and what is being asked for. Simple things. Some of the stuff you could have found by downloading your documents from your SBA portal. But you'll want to send that information back to the email provided to you, and they will consider getting you an approval. Are you just a loan broker or also teaching the loan broker business? I do a bit of the both. Right now, I'm heavily focused on the business loan brokering. So I'm not like, if you're thinking if I'm a guru who like teaches how to do business loans and that's all I do, no, definitely not. I wouldn't be happy with myself. I couldn't even live with myself. I wouldn't even be even here, to be honest with you. I have the two. I do also teach other brokers / agents on how to get started as well as how to progress over the time. And I share with them what I've been able to do, my successes along the way, and how to build out their programs, how to automate a lot of this, how to distribute content, how to inbound, outbound, hybrid market, how to local market digitally. But I have a lot of systems put together over the time, and I do a lot of the business loan brokering myself. So it's not like I focus 100% on a program like some people do. They'll tell you, oh, they did brokering for a long time, and then they became a financial advisor, they then became the coach, which happens, which is okay. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. What I'm saying is a lot of these will just show you how to start a program or show you how to broker a deal or become an agent, but it's fundamentally flawed. And even after the fundamentals, they don't understand what they're doing. So I'm not that person. I most definitely, every single day, full time, I do this. I know what's happening in the market. And keep in mind, I have my affiliate marketing businesses as well as part of like e-commerce side affiliate. It's a little something that I do, a hybrid, that are running on the back end. So they're pretty much almost automated. I still have to go in there and do the work from time to time, but it's not like I have to consistently be checking on that. I've set those businesses up and they're running for me. So I don't have a fee for mentoring. I don't have a fee for consulting. I don't have a fee for coaching, at least for now, and I may not ever have that. Let me talk about why first, and then I'll get into what you can do. Reason being is it would, one, take a lot of energy away from me for what I want to do, at least for now. And two, as well, time. So then two would then be that I don't believe in charging somebody for those types of services, at least now and probably in the future as well. Everybody's in a different place, and somebody who charges you these kind of things to give you some simple advice, that's probably how they build their business model, is about coaching, but not really doing the work themselves. And maybe they did for a point, and now they're doing this. But a lot of people in the space, not only with this one, but in a lot of other ones, if you've noticed, because I've been around the block, I know affiliate marketing well. I know how that world works, digital marketing agency, and all these other business models. A lot of people end up just teaching the business instead of actually working in it and doing it themselves. I'm the complete opposite of that. So I do it all. I know all of this stuff. If you look into my previous content on the YouTube channel as well as on my blog, you'll notice a lot of affiliate stuff. I haven't created a lot of affiliate stuff in that regard. But I built one in the health space, and then I built one in the MMO, or helping people understand different marketing tools and what they can use to enhance their business. So I have a lot of courses on this that I give away as a bonus. So I don't charge you. So if you get funding through me, it's quite the opposite. When you get funding through me, you get additional bonuses like Facebook organic advertising with paid advertising, Google organic, Google ads, all social media help, website building, local marketing, anything you can think about really that I've already done digitally with all these channels. And I'm still always uncovering something new to add on to what I'm doing, and I'm always reporting what I'm doing. So that, to hope that answers your question. You're welcome. Yes, I do. For real estate, just about every day. Not everybody is eligible though. That's a different matter. And now it depends on where I'm funneling traffic from. So maybe that on TikTok, not a lot of people come through and they're going to be quite eligible, as opposed to if it were LinkedIn or a different source, maybe it is locally that I can get that contact, or there are other ways of approaching them. And I know for a legitimate chance they have of getting the funding that they want. I hope that answers your question. What do you mean by why didn't you get the 2 million? Please clarify a little bit. Exactly. And like Eric was saying here too, if anybody wants to hear what he had to say, just scroll up, man. The guy had some beautiful points to put. And that man just delivered in a few sentences what he had to say. And I pay close attention to what each of you say. I like take care of you guys. Honestly, like if I go through all my emails right now, I can tell you all the people who I have a great personal relationship with and who I speak to on a... When you speak to me, it's very like what you're seeing here. It's not like pressuring. And you'll hear it in my voice when I'm being... And that's not confrontational or aggressive, but I'm leading. And there's times where I step back and you'll know where it feels a little bit uncomfortable for me with what I have to do. But, you know, I know this industry, like I can go to sleep and like do the work, literally. I know how that sounds, but I keep up to date with the market. I know what the lenders are wanting. I know what stages of the underwriting process you're going to be asked to provide information with. If anything changes, you guys know I'm always in communication with my lenders, with my underwriters, and different markets, different, not exactly a parallel, complementary, like real estate for one, and housing, home mortgages, even insurance. I wouldn't say 100%, not even life insurance, but there are some correlating factors to all this. No, yeah, some time ago I did. I'm not saying I've had one recently. I haven't had to. With what I'm doing, I don't need it for that kind of growth or expansion yet. But I've said it before, if you haven't, in my story, when I got started, it was very difficult because I needed the funds to do better marketing. I needed to take on credit cards. I needed to find a way to more efficiently get higher credit limits. And then that wasn't enough. I know a lot of us are in that position right now. And I'll get to you guys' questions or comments in a second. But I was there too, where I didn't have any revenue being generated. And I didn't have revenue being generated because I was also focused on the affiliate side, as opposed to the digital marketing agency, which I was building for an extended amount of time, as well as I was helping out other business owners who I had been working under when I was building these skills. And I have friends and family now that I help with all of this, not only with funding, but with marketing and sales. And I didn't have any revenue being generated for over 6 months. Literally my first commission my first payout when I was doing affiliate stuff was, I think it was 81 cents. I didn't save the picture. I wish I did. My second one came in at about just over $1.02. But it was a long, winding road. And what I learned from that was it's not like I needed the funding right away. But as I started to grow and evolve, when I started to put more money into like advertising and other purposes, what I needed equipment for and so forth, that was still hard until I finally hit like the 3K, 5K month. And then really when you get over 5K, that's when the doors start to open a little bit more. And when I started to apply for certain programs, before that I was ineligible because of certain entities and so forth, but and certain other eligibility requirements. But once I started getting to those pivots, that's when I started getting approved, pre-approved, and then that's when I started figuring out like, oh, okay, I can take out 7,000 now. I can take out 15,000 when I started increasing my revenue. And we're all in a different position. So when you get yourself there, you'll know what it is I'm talking about. But before that, you'll just hear about it like now and you'll be like, well, he's just saying it. But once you get yourself into that position, then you'll fully understand, well, I know why I'm getting approved for what I get approved for. Well, okay, now I know what I need these funds for. Now how do I go get approved? What do I need to go do to start the application process? So there's a lot of coins to this. So now let me get into the comments here. Hopefully that helped. So I always want to practice what I preach. So like I said, when I was getting into the affiliate side, when I built this health affiliate marketing business, and I did it also with the hybrid, like an e-commerce business, I wanted to make sure I knew how to use all the tools. I wanted to make sure I had the data, because data is what changed. If you guys don't know this, data will do everything for you. You change based on your data. Like if you see something and you need to jump on it to increase your ROI, you increase your conversions, you break down, this is what this sentence did for me, this is why I converted the way it did. I had the hook, story, and the offer on a landing page, sales funnel, on a website, etc. And you can magnify that and break it down for numbers and say, okay, this is what I need to do to multiply it, like your analytics. So once I started to understand all that, that's honestly where I boosted my revenue. Like without a shadow of a doubt, I accredit a lot of this in those later stages to the data. But if you don't have data, if you're basing it off of, well, I've been doing this for a month, it's not working, and you don't have enough data, or you're looking at a different or a parallel industry, and you're saying, well, at this stage, they had this data, why don't I have it? So there might be some other fundamental details you need to look at and things you need to do to shift within that industry. Hi, Jesus. So I have information in the bio. I think I have the credit repair. There's also business credit building. There's a free video series you can pick up. The bonuses that I usually offer, I may start offering them more when you go through credit repair. I may do that, or I may offer just a limited supply. For business credit building, a little bit more. But those services are in the bio, and you can learn more about. There's a video series, and then there's another way through a review video that you can check. And then I made notice of why they are recommended. Hi, Wolfie. Yes. You can use funds for real estate funding. The reason I'm thinking something different now, because the way you ask that question, it almost makes me think, are you a starter? You've never invested in real estate properties? Is this your first time around? How much experience do you have? Because at the end of the day, what it comes down to are two things. Like other types of services. So this one, it comes down to your experience and then your credit history. You can have revenue. You may not have as much revenue being generated from these properties or other business ventures that you have. But what it comes down to is your credit profile and then your experience level, because that'll also determine the loan to value, the RLTC, your ARV. There's a lot of different ways I calculate things. So I communicate this stuff before I send it to the lender, and I want to make sure it's just looks where it needs to be. Okay. So yeah, I had a feeling because I've been doing this for a long time. I know when people ask it a certain way, I know. Even if I don't say it, I'm thinking it. But it's nothing wrong. Like I said again, it goes a long ways to have experience. It's not to say you wouldn't be able to get help, but somebody who has experience is going to be considered as opposed to somebody who doesn't. So you have to almost find an alternative way. Just like if you're a startup company in a business, well, how are you getting startup funds? Are you getting a home equity line of credit? You have a cash out refinance? You have any other properties you can give up? Do you have, venture capital, stocks and bonds, mutual funds, 401k, IRA, financing, crowdfunding, as I said, friends and family, savings account, self-funding yourself. But there are a lot more, and these are just some of the most common ones. And there's startup funding options, but you have to verify revenue with W-2, pay stubs, taxes, etc. And then credit is highly emphasized at that point because you're using it for business. So usually when you see personal loans that you can use for business, a lot of them you'd see like 550 and above, but they have restrictions on how you can use them, where you're applying them to. And I don't want to get into the specifics of it, but then you also have ones where usually if you're using it for business, you'll want to have at least a 680 and if not a 700. And we still have to, like I myself may have to look at the credit reports. We'll ask for your recent tax return and so forth. So even if you record or received the loan, you have to secure revenue prior to taking anything out. Trying to understand that. Oh, I think you're asking you have to have like pre-revenue or revenue at all to get a loan, or there could have been a different way. But you have to have, if we're basing it off of cash flow, I don't think I have to say anymore, do I? Yes, it's based off of revenue. So every funding program has specifics. Like you may be asked to have 300,000 in annual revenue. You may have to have 500,000 in annual gross sales. You may be asked to have a credit card processing system in place. You're able to accept credit card payments, so we can look at merchant statements. Then we can look at AR reports, accounts payable, accounts receivables. When you're looking for longer term funding, higher doc funding usually is another way to put it, with SBA loans, SBA 7A loans, 504s. Then you're looking at supplying more documentation, and then the three more are based, which is cash flow, collateral, and credit. Now, those programs are very hard to get approved for because you need all three. And there could be just one. Like we look at you not having enough assets. We can't take any kind of equity out of this. It's not sufficient. Or you just didn't have what we preferred. Oh, okay. But you may have had the other two. Or you may have had a bad credit profile. Well, you had everything else, but you just didn't have the right credit profile. And we're emphasizing SBAs to be more credit-based and in profits. You have to have at least 10% profit, if not 15 to 20%. And I verify a lot of this with tax returns. So a lot of business owners will submit to me their bank statements, their tax returns, personal and business, for the amount of years we need. Business debt schedule, AR report, I need that. I need an accounts payable. I need a business debt schedule. And I need to see all this, how it's all being filed. And when I look at all of it before I submit it to the lender, they'll know, like, I'm hearing from Michael. He knows what he's talking about. So the lender will be like, I'll take the file. Sometimes they don't even look at it because they know what I've already looked through. And then this will just be submitted into underwriting. But we take extreme care over your profile. Not to say that the lenders don't look at it, because they do. They look at it very extensively and they take their time. But when they're getting that information from me, they'll know, oh, that's Michael. Or, oh, okay, they know I'm bringing them a good profile. As opposed to something that won't work or will work, but you're going to be the person who complains and ends up in collections, ends up in bad problems with creditors. Excuse me. And then it just goes AWOL from there. And then you just close your business checking account, and then you end up liable. And now you're in a bad situation lawfully, and you don't want to put yourself there. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to leave this open for about another couple of minutes. Do you guys have anything fun planned out for the weekend? I can't say I do. I'm going to get out a bit. I want to go down to the river, even if I don't get in the water, just to go and walk. But I'll be doing a little bit of that, hopefully. More barbecuing. I don't know if you guys saw my picture. I posted it on Facebook. I think I had it on Instagram stories too. But I was cooking some salmon burgers, and I had the burgers on the grill cooking. I had about 6 of them, I think, when I showed you guys that. Then I had the buns on the side, and then just cooking up some burger patties, salmon burgers, really tasty seasoning, salmon seasoning. Got them on the grill, cooked them nice and well, and then, ate them as a burger, and then I had them with a lettuce wrap, just so it feels more clean after I had it with burger buns. But very tasty meal. Had it with some pineapple fruit, cut up with some red peppers, not spicy. I think you guys know which one's the red and the yellow and then the orange that come in a pack. I was eating those. I cut them all up. This is all I did. So I cut them up, put them together with pineapple that we had reserved in a container, put it all in one with a few more things in there. Had some tomatillo, some, what was it? I had some mint, had a few other things in there. And I combined it all, had another side dish, but it was all tasty. It was really good. And then little things like that, everybody. I used to be that person. Don't feel bad if you're that right now. But I used to be like eating fast. I used to just sit down. If it was a conversation, I used to make it very quick. I don't do that. I haven't done that for a long time now. Really, when I sit down, I try to appreciate everybody. It may be that like I was in a little bit of an argument with my brother. We don't really argue anymore, even over silly things, like my younger brother. We're 6 years apart. I'm 29, he's 23. Yeah, and so with that being said, it's like I take everything and I'm very grateful for it. I listen attentively. I listen very carefully. I listen more than I speak. And, I ask questions about them. I always want to know more about them. I want to solve their problems. And then if they tend to turn it around to me, that's fine. But I always listen very carefully, and I'm appreciated when I'm eating. I always look down, and it's not a bad thing. I look up from time to time, but I look down because I'm very cerebral, and I very much I look at my food. I know people have a weird thing about when they look at me when they're like, "What are you doing?" But I'll look at my food when I see it, and I do a quick prayer. I do. And some people, even my mom to this day, she'll look at me like, "What are you doing?" when I'm eating. She doesn't get it, but I have to tell her. And it's I'm being appreciated of what I have, the food in front of me. I have a cow that sacrificed their life so I can eat. I'm not a vegetarian by any means, but look, a chicken just gave up their life. It's hard enough knowing that how you lose an animal, but it's another thing that, hey, they put themselves so you can be fed, so you can be fed these nutrients, so you can live, so you can have the energy, so you can live 110% when you switch from your business to then focusing on your family or whatever it is you want to do. So I take all these little things and I'm very cognizant of it. If I'm not speaking, I'm very cerebral about things. And so when I'm looking at every little fine detail on my plate, it's because I'm taking it in with my mind way before I even take a bite of it, if that makes sense. So I'm always doing little things like that, I'm thanking them for giving me the food today, please let it nourish my body, my soul, my spirit, my mind. And I know it's for some people it might be a lot, but that's just what the truth is. No, you didn't cut me off. I appreciate you for bringing that up. I was about to just go into the comments. The $2 million in funding, you mean? I'm not speaking business credit in that regard. Maybe thinking funding. Oh, which brings me to another point. Sure, you can get higher limits in credit, but you have to build your way up. That's not hard. The problem is, again, it comes down to your effort, your discipline, and your effort. So there is a difference. Getting business funding and getting credit may be applied the same. Like if you get credit, you can apply it in a similar sense that if you got funding. Like look at the payroll tax credit right now with the employee retention tax credit. I don't want to go too far into that, but you can get up to $26,000 per employee. It's a legitimate program. You deal with payroll management experts. A lot of people have come through, have received funding. I follow up in a lot of cases. Sometimes I don't right away, but the difference is when you're getting a loan, we'll talk about it as getting a loan and then getting credit. You have business credit cards, personal credit cards, you're building credit limits. And these are used for however you would like to within your business. So essentially, you're getting a loan, but you're not. If that makes sense. You're building up your business credit profile. You're making purchases through different vendor programs for supplies, office equipment, medical equipment. Maybe you're going through a financial program where they can help you with accounting software solutions. You can just link them. But you're building up a credit profile, credit limits with these credit cards that then you can use with fuel cards, cash, retail, and then you can go and make these purchases you need and you can use them however you like. So in a similar sense, you look at business funding, you're getting a loan. You can get it through the banks. If you can't, you can go through a non-private lender. You could do these solutions like PayPal Working Capital being one of many. And then you have private lending solutions, which are like you've heard of like the Lendios, or they're more of an online marketplace that connect you with them. But you get private lending solutions like the Blue Lines and all these other world. And they can get you a line of credit. Okay? So you have credit cards, and you have in a similar sense, you have lines of credits. They can also supply you with the card for their company. And it's a revolving line of credit. So you can use this however you like, and it becomes revolving. You can put that, let's say you get approved for $50,000. Now you can use as much of that as you wish. You can use it all at once, or you can come back and take out as much as you want. Let's say for the first withdrawal, you take out $10,000. Now you only get interest on that $10,000 you get taken out. And that's applied to you depending on your risk, bank statements, credit, and more. It's more of a credit-based program. Once you pay off this $10,000 on interest, usually 1 to 3% per month, amortized per week, 0.69 to about 1.39% in a lot of cases, substandard, subprime. So when that happens, now you're paying on interest, and then you have the principal. Every single week that you don't pay off the $10,000 that you took out, you're paying on interest every single week. So you may have had $300 that you have for that week on interest, and then if you didn't pay back the original $10,000 in the account, you have like 6, 9 to 12 months, depending on what you get. You're paying a consistent $300 or even more if you withdraw more on top of that $10,000. I don't want to confuse you guys. Maybe you have an additional $300 or $500 on top of that. So now you're paying $800 per week. So you can see how that adds up really quickly. And even credit cards can be expensive. It can be a lot of accruing interest over the time. And you may not get the limits that you want. And it may not be satisfactory enough the way it's reporting, or you don't want something reporting, you can't get access to cards. The payback, the annual fees, the rewards, and it's so much more than that. I'll try to create video content on that here soon. But think about it. Right now what I'm saying is, in the market we're living in today, separate personal and business, build your business credit profile. That's what I would ultimately do. And if you can get a loan, there are going to be, a lot of the times they're medium to higher rates, because you can't get approved for anything less. You're looking at more of an interest rate of about 19 to 100+%, 19 to 50%, especially with these cash advances, merchant cash advances. And then if you're anything underneath that, then you have assets to give up, sufficient enough equity, enough of an investment, enough of a down payment, depends on the service. But anything usually underneath 15% nowadays, you have to come back to it with collateral. You have to qualify with traditional banking. SBA 7As, you have a down payment of 10% to 20%. And a lot of this stuff we can calculate with our formulas to see how much funding you would realistically get. Not pre-approval, but pre-approval, yeah. but also post-approval when we look at everything that you've supplied us with documentation. So hopefully that clears up. I can go into more specific details, but for the sake of time, we'll just leave it at that. So I'll give it about another minute or two because people are asking questions. You're showing me a lot of bravery right now and courage. I know what it is like to be that first person who comments, but also a person who comments who's very shy. It's hard for me still to this day to comment on other people's videos, but you know, when I find something good and valuable enough to invest my energy and time in, I will do it. And just know that. Just so you guys know, if this is the first time you're watching me, I don't really like talk like this a lot. Find it hard to believe if you've seen my other content, but you'll know that I'm an introvert, and so I spend a lot of time blogging, and that's one of my more comfortable channels. It's not to say I'm not confident, because I'm 200% confident in what I do. It's just some of us are more comfortable with a certain medium than we are with another one. So again, I'll leave this open. Let's say about another. I'll leave it at about another minute. In the meantime, I'm going to go through some quick emails. I'm logging into my back office for one of our funding programs. A lot of this stuff I can see on my end. Like sometimes I don't ask for the bank statements. A lot of the times we can also see this on our back end when it gets submitted. So there are different ways I'll ask for it. Also, I encourage you guys to come up with more content. If you guys want me to speak about a specific problem or a major one, something you guys want me to get more in depth in, I'll definitely take that. I may create a... Now, I see it a lot on my group when people come in. Like, I'll see the problems. But I may create a separate spot where you guys can insert information. I'm gonna go walk after this and jog. It's funny. People ask me like, "Why do you?" My mom, she knows this already about me. Like when we talk, when we see each other, she's like, "Why do you always leave at? Why do you go and jog at 3 or 3:30?" Well, for one, I already have a set schedule on like what I like to do. She's like, "You're a viejito. You're like a viejito," and if you guys don't know what that means, you're old. She tells me I'm old. She's like, "Michael, you're like a viejito," and I go, maybe because I am one. And a lot of people are like, well, you're young. And I'm like, yeah, I'm young. I still do the things that I need to do as being young. But like for one, my body type, if you see my dad's body type, my younger brother's body type too. I was an athlete for a long time. I played soccer, Division I soccer. I've always been not the most athletic person, but I've always built the skills, and the talent wasn't always there. Like I had to build it, but I've always been very up here. Like I'm always a step ahead of most people. So when I played the game, I always saw the game different. I played as a center midfielder, which was one of the most hardest positions. I played center attacking mid, and then in college I played a lot of holding midfield. So kind of defensive, but also on the offensive because I knew my game was that way. So it's always been for me a journey. And it's like body composition wise, and some of the things I do in my routine now, you'd say are kind of old, and you think I'm boring. I'm not boring. I still do a lot of fun things. I just don't, like I used to in my younger 20s, go out of my way to do everything like that because I have a different focus nowadays. And I could just be happy being at home, catching the new Netflix series and finishing it, and then going to bed happy, and then doing a few other things, finishing up a meal, and then closing up shop, and then waking up tomorrow feeling more refreshed because I'm not where I want to be yet. If that makes sense. A lot of us think we are, but we're not. And there's always something new. There's always a new goal to hit. And if something is taking away time and energy from you, just put it to the side. All right, let me write this one down. I love that topic. Yeah, I can't promise it'll be done next week or how soon I'll release it, but I'm going to definitely keep that in mind. I've spoken a little bit about that in the past and extensively. But again, it could be for a different time. I wouldn't say exactly that your credit wouldn't be affected. Depends on the type of credit card you're applying to. Maybe you can tell me which one that is. You don't have to. But a lot of them may not be asking for it. So it just depends on who you're going through. There's some where, yeah, you'll get an inquiry and you'll be affected by it. Hopefully that helped. I know I can go more extensive into the subject, but because I'm short on time now. Chase freedoms. Yeah, that can affect it. I have the Chase Freedom card myself. Yeah, we can talk about that more, but like I said, I'm a little bit limited on time. Chase Freedom, that's what I look for. So let's see, does anybody have any more questions or comments? Give it about a couple more seconds. If something new comes up, I'll stick around for a bit. There's a lot of them. Chase Freedoms Unlimited, Chase Freedom Cashback. I would recommend the Chase Freedoms, the one that you are on. Now, why is that one? Let me ask you this. Why is that one you're looking for? Is that the only one that you're available to apply for? But there are a lot of them, especially if we're talking about business credit building. Like, we're going into that world now. Sorry, there's a fly in front of me. And again, I didn't want to get too specific into the subject. I could do this all day. But like ones that I released just recently, like Wells Fargo is an amazing one to go to if you can open up an account with them. So many benefits. Again, I don't want to get into all of the rewards and interest and then this. I can go down that route. I made a video just recently on the channel if you want to view that, where I spoke about all subjects like ERC and so forth, and then I went into combining business loans with business credit cards. If you're using personal credit cards, there's a different thing to do there. But I went into how you have the Capital One Spark, you have the Corpay, you have the Wells Fargo Secured Business Credit Card. Those are three that I would invest some time into. And you can do a quick search on them. I'm going to try to come out with content on them here soon and why they've worked for me too. But I'll just leave it at that. That helps. Let me go quickly here into my back office. I had a client recently send me an email. That's why I'm in my back office right now. Yeah, you're welcome. And again, like I said, I wish I could give you a lot more right now, but I'm limited on my time. I can chop this up anytime. But in the future, I'm planning to come out with more hybrid content on credit cards and with business funding together. Like, how can you guys combine certain credit cards with business funding for a lot of different reasons? I'll get into some of those, or most of them. But yeah, definitely Chase is one to go to. That's who I'm, banking with. And don't just limit yourself to just one. if you're just getting started and you have a low limit, like let's say 500, build your way up. That's what I was able to do, and work your way in. That's what you should ultimately be doing, and not worrying about, well, I didn't get a $25,000 limit. Well, you had to understand that you need to get yourself up there first by being able to make payments in other cards and then venture off into other ones. And then when you're combining that with business credit building, that's what you need to be doing. Like, understand how these are reporting when you're building business credit and who they're reporting to, the underwriting guidelines. There is a challenge coming up here. I don't know if I'm going to leave it in the link with all the buttons, but if you guys go view the recent video that I came out with, I was supposed to broadcast it out today. I might just do it tomorrow, maybe. But there's going to be a free, I think it's 5 days of a challenge where a lot of lenders and a lot of people, experts in the business credit building space, will be coming together to talk to you about how to do all this efficiently. Like, how do you build business credit? And I've been through all of this. So, like, I know a lot of the stuff they're already going to talk about, and how you can get access to a dashboard where they can show you what vendor programs to go and apply for, how to build your credit the right way. And it's legit. It's like, wow. When I got into it, I was like, what? I didn't think it was that good. But seeing it beforehand kind of already gave me that expectation. And so they're going to show you how to get business financing. A lot of the stuff that I already talked about, it won't be really anything new. There may be some few additions here with the lenders and then the underwriters. But a lot of the stuff I already know. I'm going to be in there really just for just to see what else is new, and just seeing what else maybe could be applicable in the future. So I will leave it at that for now. Appreciate your guys' time for all the subjects that we've talking about, all the way down here to Chase Freedoms. And again, not to go too specific into that card and the benefits, as well as any other ones, and all other types of funding, which wasn't about that in this video. And if you guys need any help at any time, please refer to the bio. Click the link. You guys can also go to the icons, Instagram, YouTube, the link. You guys can go through, and there will be a set of buttons. Hope a lot of them. The top one, click on business funding form or questionnaire form. Forgot what I put it as. It'll bring you to a questionnaire you can fill out in less than 30 seconds, and you'll get a very personalized and customized email response on your best funding option and options, very thoroughly broken down from the top, from introduction all the way to the conclusion. Even if you don't think you qualify for something now, there will always be something for you on the table. And like I said, I'm here to take care of you as a human being first, not like the actual human being coffee place. I know some of you guys are like, that sounds good. But that'll be everything for myself. I do appreciate you guys' time. Take care. Bye. Have a great weekend. Take it easy.